All right. In 2024, really intelligent scientists came out with this study that went over 4,792 proteins in 20 cohorts to predict mortality and disease risk. The study's name was called a plasma proteomic signature of cardiorespiratory fitness and its association with future mortality and morbidity. Basically, we all have this signature in our blood, our protein signature. And these 6 proteins in our blood, CFA, AGER, RGMB, CDNF, LSAMP, and TNR, basically have this fingerprint on whether we're low risk of heart disease, kidney, or brain disease. It's in our blood. And the scientists say, if you can identify where you are in that signature, we can predict with some level of certainty how healthy you are and how long you're going to live. So everybody goes and rushes to, wow, so you mean it's not just VO2 max, it's not just weight, which leads me to the second study. In the second study that was published in 2023, plasma proteomic signatures of BMI, body mass index, reveals heterogeneous cardiometabolic risk profiles within and across standard BMI classifications. What does that mean? That means if you're fat, if you're overweight, doesn't mean you're unhealthy. If you're skinny and you look great, doesn't mean you're healthy. This is phenomenal. That means you cannot judge a book by its cover. And where this is really important is, let's say you were at dinner and there's 3 cardiologists and we're having dinner together, and you ask the doctor, hey, what should I do about my health? And you look like your waist size is 38 or 40, you're clearly obese, but that doesn't mean the doctor has the right to say, hey, you should lose some weight. I'm not saying they would, but just to make the conversation interesting, they should always look for your proteins and in your blood to make that determination. And this is a critical finding because that means we can no longer just walk up, decide we're going to lose weight and expect our health to improve, which is foundational to the third study I'm going to reference, which is the oldest study out of all of this, which is the heritage study. And the heritage study was done by the original genetic scientist, Dr. Claude Bouchard. And what he did was he actually went in 1999 and studied 700 people from different families, okay? But they were all families. So a lot of these people had the same lineage. And he performed tests on them. And he realized that people from the same family would react similarly to these tests. And some were responding well to this drug, and some were not responding as well to this drug. And it was all over the map. And you're like, well, what is the drug? Well, the drug in this case is called exercise. And that is the medicine that can give you longevity. So in study 4, they realized, oh my goodness, if everybody reacts different to the drug to the drug exercise, then who responds better and when and how and where? Well, the way they did the test, and this is the final study, and I'm going to read this to you. This is exciting, at least to me it is. It's called Plasma Proteomic Changes in Response to Exercise Training Are Associated with Cardiorespiratory Fitness Adaptation. So what does that mean? That means if I train Vic and his brother, and Vic responds well to exercise, the likelihood that Vic's brother will respond to exercise is high. And the way they're going to respond is somewhat similar. And their VO2 max, meaning how well they process oxygen per minute, will improve. And the improvement would be a function of their genetics, part of their genetics. While let's say another group, call them 2 brothers, have been tested to be low responders to exercise as an intervention to raise VO2 max. So Vic and his brother, and subject A and B are brothers. Both get 20 weeks of exercise as a drug. I come out with my brother with higher VO2 max, and our protein numbers improve. The other set of brothers come out with lower VO2 max after the 20-week intervention, but their blood markers for protein improve too. So both interventions applied to two different cohorts resulted in positive effect, but the effect was different. So it's impossible for us to know which cohort responded better to exercise without actually doing the protein blood work test, which sets the precedent that the future of how well we perform as humans should be predicated off of these protein signatures in our blood. And based on those protein signatures and how we respond to exercise is the best prescription for personalized medicine. And I want to make sure that everybody knows this isn't just something you hang up and you go, okay, well, that's it, Vic. You're going to tell me to exercise. And of course, we all know that. Well, no, we all know that exercise is good for you, but we don't know what kind of exercise, what duration, what we often learn fit, frequency, intensity, type, and time. We don't know what fits you best without testing. So personalized medicine, whether it's drug prescription in pill format or in actual exercise, is important to help you optimize, maximize your dose response to movement. And let me give you some good news. You may need very little dose to respond really well to longevity, but you may also overtrain. Someone else might need double the dose. You might need only a quarter. So it's important to find out what your dose response to the prescription is. Takeaway here is some people might respond better to shorter bouts of exercise. Some may need a little bit longer bout of exercise. Some may respond better to resistance training. Some have more fast twitch muscles opposed to slow twitch muscle. So the adaptation varies. And these protein markers can explain to you how much they vary. So climbing a flight of stairs may be enough for one individual. Climbing 3 flights of stairs may not do anything for that individual. So it varies. So the objective here is to figure out what is personalized medicine for you in terms of exercise as an intervention, and knowing that you don't need to do as much as an Olympian to get the benefits of health, that you may just need to do very little to get the incremental benefit from health and help for your health span and your longevity. And let me end with this note from the Heritage study. So let's say both individuals are 50 years old. One individual has 50 VO2 max, sedentary. He was born with this aerobic fitness. And the other individual had 30, let's say 40 VO2 max. Guess who's going to live longer if they all shared a similar lifestyle? The person with the 50 VO2 max. So what does a person with the 40 VO2 max need to do to get to the lifespan and health span of a 50 VO2 max? He needs to figure out what his exercise intervention should be, what his medicine should be to improve his VO2 max to 50. What the science is suggesting that even if he doesn't improve his VO2 max to 50 with exercise, because his response to exercise is different, his protein markers can improve. He can live as healthy as a person who was born genetically gifted with this high aerobic capacity. And I'm sure you've all seen this, like in these anomalies in life where people are like, oh, this guy doesn't do anything, but he lives forever. That's probably a genetically gifted, aerobically fit individual. And if that person trained and say he trained, he may go from 50 to 60. While this person who was born with 40 VO2 max can only get to a maximum of say 45, 50. And that's if he's a regular responder. There are people who respond very little to exercise in terms of VO2 max, but the study suggests that most of your protein will improve in relationship to how much you exercise. But each individual's dose of exercise varies. So it's really important to measure how you perform. It's not how you perform. This isn't like how fast you want to go. It's really important to understand and measure your blood work before you exercise and after you exercise so that you have a clear understanding of what improved and what stayed the same, and then readjust that dosage. I think that's the best explanation. The prescription that I want to prescribe to those of you who are interested in the intervention is simple. Get your blood work done and do 30 minutes of walking a day, and get your blood work done again in 20 weeks and see what's changed. That's really the prescription exercise. I don't think you need to do anything more than that or anything less than that. Now, the bare minimum, I think you'll see improvements. Let me change that. The prescription would be a minimum of 150 minutes of exercise a week. So that could be 30 minutes, 5 days a week. That would be 150. You can take the weekends off. And remember, you can split this up. It can be 20 minutes, 7 days a week, or 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes in the evening. You can split it up. And what we're looking for is how your body responds to exercise from a protein signature point of view, like a proteomic point of view, right? So that's something for you to do if you have the interest. I think this is a wonderful intervention for you to test out. And you might be pleasantly surprised, like, oh my God, I only did 150 minutes of exercise and my insulin sensitivity improved. My blood work improved. All of these markers improve. Or you may find out, oh my goodness, this didn't improve for me, but this really did improve for me. And then make adjustments on that. So it's really important for you to work with, obviously, it's really important for all of you to work and find physicians that is patient with you, that can hear your story, understand that you are more aware about your body than most, and that you want to work through these problems through blood work, right? You want to find out exactly what your protein profile is. So you can use exercise as an intervention to move these little markers around, obviously for the better. And then go over those results with your doctor. The doctor should be very happy to hear that you're utilizing both, in some cases, drugs and exercise as a dual intervention to improve your health, right? And a common cocktail may be, let's say you're on statin and you do 30 minutes of walking a day. Probably not uncommon at all. You may be on Metafor and may be doing stairs 4 times a week. So once you get settled into this, then we can move into dosage, like the frequency, the intensity, the type. Maybe we switch out the type and we adjust the time. And that becomes really important for understanding when to use what exercise to improve what marker. And that fit is really what I learned from my mentor, Dr. Pescatello at UConn. Incredible mentor to me. So I hope you understand this. Now, I'm going to always pay homage to the doctors in the study. Stick around if you like. I think you should, because these are phenomenal studies. Study 1, published in 2024, Nature's Medicine, a plasma proteomic signature of cardiorespiratory fitness and its association with future mortality and morbidity. The authors, Andrew S. Perry, Eric Farber-Egger, Thomas Gonzalez, Toshiko Tanaka, Jeremy M. Robbins, Venkatesh L. Murthy, Lindsay K. Stoltz, Xiling Zhao, Shi Huan, Laura A. Congelo, Colangelo, Shilling Dang, Li Feng, Donald M. Lloyd Jones, Keenan A. Walker, Luigi Ferrucci, Eleanor L. Watts, Jacob L. Barber, Prashant Rao, Michael E. Menon, Kelly Petit, Gabriel Ona, Stephen Sidney, Nicholas J. Skork, Gregory D. Lewis, Gabriel B. Fredrickson, Thea K. Garanzik Wang, Sadia Khan, Benia Choudhury, Choudhury, George D. Vavas, Ravi Kalhan, Nick J. Wareham, Cloud Bouchard, Mark A. Sarzinski, Robert E. Gerkston, Soren Brunak, Quinn S. Wells, Matthew J. Nair, Ravi V. Shah. Study 2, which was plasma proteomic signature of BMI reveals heterogeneous cardiometabolic risk profiles within across standard BMI classifications. Keone, Jacobs, Eric, this one I have to spell, Leszczynski, and then Jacob Barber, Prashant Rao, Michael E. Menon, Prasoon Dev, Matthew Herzog, Sujo Ghosh, Clary B. Klish, Cloud Bouchard, Jeremy M. Robbins, Robert E. Gersten, Mark A. Sarzinski. And you'll notice that some of these authors repeat, or some of these scientists repeat, which is a good thing. And then study 3, which is the plasma proteomic changes in response to exercise training are associated with cardiorespiratory fitness adaptations, which means when you exercise, you improve your protein markers. The authors are Jeremy M. Robbins, Prashant Rao, Shuling Dunn, Michelle J. Keys, Ushman A. Tahir, Daniel Katz, Pierre M., J. John Beltran, Francois Marchildon, Marchildon, Jacob Barber, Bennett Peterson, Yang Gao, Adolfo Correa, James G. Wilson, J. Gustav Smith, Paul Cohen, Robert Ross, Cloud Bouchard, Mark Sarzinski, and Robert E. Gersten. And then the final study, which is the original study, the Heritage Family Study from 1999, familial aggregation of VO2 max response to exercise training, results from the Heritage Family Study, has its authors Cloud Bouchard, Ping An, Treva Rice, James Skinner, Jack H. Wilmore, Jacques Gagon, Louis Perusse, Perusse, Argon S. Leon, Dar Mibber C. Rao. I butchered a lot of these names. I apologize. But that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.